You stepped outside this morning and never looked up. Most people don't. Coffee in one hand, keys in the other, mind already somewhere else. But high above the road, above the trees, above even the sound of traffic, something noticed you, not vaguely, not accidentally, a bald eagle. Circling so high, you probably would have mistaken it for a dark speck against the clouds. But, from up there, it already knew where you were moving before you did. And here's the strange part. To the eagle, you are not invisible. You are movement, par, behavior, a signal in the landscape. And once an eagle starts recognizing patterns, it rarely forgets them. Tonight, you're going to see the world the way America's greatest sky predator sees it. And after this, you may never walk outside CAEC again. A bald eagle does not look at the world the way humans do. You see scenery. The eagle sees opportunities. Risk, motion. Weakness, distant. From thousands of feet in the air, an eagle can detect movement most humans would never notice. A rabbit shifting in tall grass, a fish turning beneath water, a squirrel freezing beside a tree trunk. Even the direction something is moving tells the eagle a story, because survival in the sky depends on prediction, not reaction. Reaction is slow. Prediction keeps predators alive. And humans, whether we realize it or not, broadcast information constantly. The speed you walk, the way your shoulders move, whether you hesitate before crossing a yard, whether your attention is focused or drifting. To an eagle, none of that is meaningless, it's data. And nature has spent millions of years refining the eagle's ability to read it. That's why eagles often appear motionless while circling. They are not wandering, they are processing. Every movement below becomes part of a constantly updating map inside the bird's mind. A map far more detailed than most people imagine. Here's something most people never think about. When humans enter nature, we assume we're the observers. But usually, we're the observed. The bald eagle almost always sees you first, not because you're careless, because the eagle's entire body was designed for surveillance. Its eyesight is estimated to be several times sharper than ours. Imagine standing on top of a skyscraper and still being able to notice the movement of someone reaching into their pocket on the street below. That's the level of visual processing we're talking about. And once the eagle notices movement, begins categorizing, save, threatening, irrelevant, predictable. Animals that survive near humans become experts at this, because misreading a human can be fatal. An eagle that wastes energy fleeing harmless movement loses precious calories. But an eagle that ignores danger at the wrong moment may not survive long enough to make the mistake twice. So the bird studies first, always. That's why hikers sometimes feel watched in remote places. Sometimes they are. An eagle perched silently on a pine branch may have tracked their movement for several minutes before they ever sensed another living thing nearby, not out of aggression. Out of awareness. The sky predator survives by knowing what everything below it is doing, including you. Wild predators love predictability because predictability reduces risk. And humans are unbelievably predictable creatures. You leave the house at similar times, park in similar spots, walk familiar paths, return to the same places over and over again. To another human, these habits seem invisible. To an eagle, they stand out immediately. If an eagle nests near highways, lakes, forests, or small towns, it begins learning the rhythms of that environment: morning fishermen, joggers, construction noise, boats appearing at sunrise, dogs walking near shorelines. The eagle doesn't memorize these things emotionally. It memorizes them functionally. This movement usually means safety. That sound usually means disturbance. That area becomes crowded after noon. That dock often leaves fish scraps behind. And eventually, humans themselves become landmarks in the eagle's mental map. Not names, patterns. There's a reason eagles often perch in the same locations for long periods. Those locations provide information. Clear visibility, Aklot's routes, wind advantage. And from there, bird quietly studies the world below. including us. People often describe bald eagles as looking intense, almost calculating. And honestly, they are. Predators survive through focus. The eagle's stare exists because distraction in the wild has consequences. A missed detail can mean starvation, injury, failure. So when an eagle locks onto something, its brain begins analyzing movement with astonishing precision. Is it injured? Alert? Distracted? Fast? Unaware? Humans actually trigger this same instinctive scanning process, especially when we move unpredictably. Fast movements, sudden turns, sporadic gestures, those instantly attract attention. That's why an eagle may seem calm around one person and cautious around another. The bird isn't judging morality, it's evaluating behavior. And here's the unsettling part. Animals are often incredibly accurate at reading emotional states through body language. Tension changes movement, stress changes posture, fear changes pacing. Predators evolved reading those signals long before humans ever existed, which means an eagle circling overhead may understand more about your current state than you realize. Not because it reads minds, because nature trained it to read bodies. There's a reason humans associate bald eagles with power. When you watch one fly, it doesn't look nervous. It looks certain, almost untouchable. And that confidence comes from position. The eagle rules through height. From above, the bird controls information. Everything beneath it becomes visible. Movement reveals itself. Weakness exposes itself. Patterns become obvious. That's why elevation matters so much in nature. The higher you are, earlier you detect danger. The earlier you detect opportunity. Humans built towers for the same reason. Military lookouts, watchtowers, satellites, surveillance systems. The eagle mastered that strategy millions of years earlier. And once you understand that, you start realizing something fascinating. The bald eagle isn't merely a bird, it's an airborne observer built entirely around awareness. Every part of it serves detection: eyes, wings, perching behavior, flight patterns, even silence. Especially silence, because the deadliest predators rarely announce themselves. Humans confuse animals. We are loud, fast, chaotic, yet strangely predictable. Some animals fear us completely. Others adapt around us. Bald eagles do both. They keep distance, while constantly studying. That's why eagles near cities behave differently than those deep in wilderness. The urban eagle learns human systems, traffic patterns, fishing schedules, noisy cycles, even garbage routes, not consciously like a human planner. But behaviorally, the bird learns where opportunity appears. And once a food source becomes reliable, eagle remembers. This memory is one reason bald eagles return to familiar nesting territories year after year. The environment becomes known, mapped, understood, and humans living near those areas become part of that map too. You may think the eagle ignored you beside the lake, but chances are, already logged your presence long before you noticed the branch above you. Sometimes people experience something strange outdoors, a sudden instinct to look up, to scan the trees, to pause. And occasionally, they discover an eagle staring directly at them, still, silent, focused. Moments like that feel powerful because deep down, humans still recognize predators, even ancient ones. Long before cities existed, our ancestors survived by detecting eyes watching from the environment. Nature trained that instinct into us too. And maybe that's why encounters with bald eagles feel different than encounters with smaller birds. A sparrow feels ordinary. An eagle feels aware, intentional, ancient, like the sky itself noticed you for a second. And perhaps that feeling isn't entirely imagined, because for one brief moment, you entered the awareness of something built to observe the world from above. Tomorrow morning, before you step outside, pause for a second. Look at the sky, at the trees, at the power poles, at the high places humans rarely pay attention to. Because somewhere above all the noise, something may already be watching the landscape below, tracking movement, reading patterns, quickly understanding the world in ways we barely notice anymore. The bald eagle does not hate humans. It does not admire humans, but it studies us the same way it studies rivers, storms, roads, and prey, as part of the living map beneath its wings. And maybe that's the strangest realization of all. You were never alone in the landscape. You were simply too busy looking forward to notice what was already looking down. Outrote next time you see a bald eagle overhead. Watch carefully. Does it circle? Does it stare? Does it already seem to know exactly where everything below it is moving? And tell me in the comments, what's the closest encounter you've ever had with a bald eagle? Because, honestly, those stories are some of the most fascinating parts of this channel. The sky is never empty. You just have to learn how to see it. I'll see you in the next one.